All right, Richard, welcome back to another Fantasy Goodfellas video where we talk about the top 30 wide receiver rankings for week 1. You ready to get going?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom, boom, boom. Rolling on the field.
Fantasy Goodfellas. Before we get started, we just want to share how these videos are going to play out this year. Richard's going to give the ranking, and I'm going to call him out on why he chose that wide receiver for that ranking. All right, Richard, take it over.
And number 1, we have Devonta Adams, who will be at New Orleans.
Do you really think Devonta Adams is going to be the best wide receiver this year, too?
I think so. I think Devonta Adams will, again, be near the top of the league in receptions, yardage, and touchdowns. He's in a great situation, and he has an MVP as a quarterback. And number 2, Tyreek Hill, who will be home against the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, when we talk about Kansas City, it's always the same thing. Too many targets on a good team. Is he going to get the touches?
Tyreek Hill is going to be amazing, regardless of the presence of Travis Kelce. He's going to have a strong season. His floor is top 5. And number 3, Stefon Diggs, who will be home against Pittsburgh.
Okay, Stefon Diggs is a dynamic receiver, got a great quarterback. They're going against Pittsburgh. What's going to hold them back from getting this top 3 ranking?
Nothing much. I like Stefon Diggs a lot. Again, a lot of people don't remember. He led the league in receiving yards last year. He's got a great quarterback. I think Stefon Diggs is going to score more touchdowns this year. And number 4, DeAndre Hopkins, who will be at Tennessee.
The problem with Hopkins for the last 2 years is he's not getting in the end zone. Is that going to change this year?
Yes, DeAndre Hopkins has 6 and 7 touchdowns the last 2 years, respectively. I expect something in the same range this year. I think that's what keeps him from being the number 1 guy. And number 5, Justin Jefferson at Cincinnati.
Justin Jefferson isn't a surprise. Everybody knows he's good. Do you think they're going to team up on him?
I think they are, but don't forget there's Adam Thielen on that squad as well. We'll see how much they pass. They might just rely on Cook a lot, but the Bengals are bad. Jefferson is good. And number 6, Terry McLaurin, home against the LA Chargers.
McLaurin was great last year. Now he's got kind of an upgrade at quarterback with Fitzpatrick. How high is his ceiling?
I'm with you on that. I love Scary Terry this year. I love the fact that he has Fitzpatrick. I think McLaurin is a top 10 guy all year. And number 7, DK Metcalf at Indianapolis.
This is an explosive wide receiver. Do you think people are sleeping on him this year?
I think a lot of people foresee that the Seahawks are going to be running more. But DK Metcalf, all he needs is 1 or 2 catches, right? And he can take it to the house. So I think he's going to have his share of dud games this year, but he's going to have some incredible high-scoring games. I think he's going to do well this week. And number 8, Calvin Ridley, home against Philadelphia.
Okay, Julio Jones is no longer there. Calvin Ridley's the guy. Do you think teams could just load up on his side and shut him out?
No, I mean, it's tough to do that to a guy like Calvin Ridley. It's going to affect them, Julio Jones not being there, but they do have Kyle Pitts. So if Kyle Pitts plays like everybody thinks he can, it'll be the Ridley Pitts show. I think Matt Ryan will be fine. And number 9, Mike Evans, home against the Dallas Cowboys.
Mike Evans got into the end zone a bunch last year. Can he keep it going?
I think so, especially against a team like the Cowboys. Mike Evans will score. And number 10, CeeDee Lamb, who will be at Tampa Bay.
Okay, a little drama going on there with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. I think Amari Cooper's a little hurt that CeeDee Lamb is liked nationwide.
Yeah, we'll see how the wide receiver chemistry continues there in Dallas. But CeeDee Lamb is the younger, fresher, maybe better version of Amari Cooper. And I think he will have the best stats on that team. And Dak Prescott, hopefully he's healthy. And if he is, they're going to pass a ton. At 11, Chris Godwin, home against the Cowboys.
I like Godwin. He's a really good wide receiver. And I think this year he's trying to prove himself even more. How do you think that plays out throughout the year?
There's positives, right? Tom Brady is your quarterback. The negative is he's going to be competing with Mike Evans and Antonio Brown for catches. I think they're all going to thrive. I think Tom Brady is going to pass enough for all of them to do well this season. Godwin will do better than he did last year. At number 12, we have A.J. Brown, who will be home against the Cardinals.
What a great wide receiver he is. The only problem is now he's got to share the ball with Julio Jones.
I agree with you, and that is why he's just outside my top 10. Remember, Tennessee is a running team. Now you add Julio Jones to that, and A.J. Brown, as good as he is, we have him at 12. And number 13, Julio Jones will be home against the Cardinals.
Julio Jones went from a passing team in Atlanta to a run team in Tennessee. You think he's going to get the touches to keep him happy this year?
Yeah, man, it's Julio Jones. He's going to get open. He's going to make plays. Ryan Tannehill will find a way to get him the ball. And number 14, Keenan Allen at Washington.
Last year, Keenan Allen was just under 1,000 yards for the season. Do you think he's going to improve upon last year?
I think so. With Justin Herbert at quarterback and with one extra game on the schedule, I think Keenan Allen is a sure bet to surpass 1,000 receiving yards. And number 15, Tyler Lockett, who will be at Indianapolis.
All right, who's the real number one wide receiver in Seattle?
I think it's undoubtedly DK Metcalf, but there will still be balls for Tyler Lockett. Russell Wilson's a great quarterback who has thrown over 30 touchdowns for 4 consecutive years. I think that trend will continue, so Lockett will score touchdowns. And number 16, Robert Woods, who will be home against the Chicago Bears.
Okay, Robert Woods has an upgrade at quarterback. How much higher is his ceiling?
I think it's very high. The Bears have a good defense. I think he's going to do well this week, and I think he's going to rise up our rankings every week if Matt Stafford does what I think he can in that McVay offense. And number 17, Amari Cooper at Tampa Bay.
We talked about this earlier with CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper seems to be a little frustrated that CeeDee Lamb's getting on the national press. You think he got something to prove?
Hopefully he does use that, right? Hopefully he has a chip on his shoulder and he uses that to motivate him. But Amari Cooper seems to be playing hurt every game. So he appears to be fragile. He already has some sort of ankle injury this year. And number 18, Antonio Brown will be home against the Dallas Cowboys. 3
Tampa wide receivers in your top 30? What gives?
I like it. I think Tom Brady's going to pass a ton. They're playing the Cowboys, who had one of the worst secondaries and still have one of the worst secondaries in the league. I think there's going to be enough for all of them. Enough for Evans, Godwin, and Antonio Brown. And number 19, Allen Robinson, who will be at the LA Rams.
How long until Justin Fields takes over to kind of help Allen Robinson out?
I think Fields will help once he starts. We'll see how long it goes. Nagy's kind of hard-headed, wants to give Andy Dalton the reins here. I don't know why. But that's why he's down. That's why Allen Robinson is 19, the matchup and the quarterback. And number 20, Deontay Johnson at Buffalo.
Okay, Ben Roethlisberger was not good last year, but you think he's going to be better this year to help Deontay Johnson out?
I think he's going to be adequate. I don't think he's going to be that great. I think he's going to be adequate, and I think Deontay Johnson is probably the number 1 in Pittsburgh. And number 21, Adam Thielen at Cincinnati.
Adam Thielen's ranked lower than Justin Jefferson in this week's ranking. What do you think it will take him to get higher?
We'll see how the passes go in Minnesota, but if we get a repeat of last year, Thielen is going to be the number 2. And in this game against the Bengals, Dalvin Cook is going to run a lot. At 22, Marquez Callaway, who will be home against the Green Bay Packers.
This is a second-year player. Why do you got him ranked so high?
I think Jameis Winston's going to pass a ton. And I think Callaway right now, with Michael Thomas out, is the number 1 receiver in New Orleans. I think he's going to have a big game. At 23, Chase Claypool, who will be at Buffalo.
Last year, Claypool was a little of a surprise. How high is the ceiling this year?
I think he's going to do better, right? Another year under Ben Roethlisberger. Claypool is a playmaker. He scored touchdowns last year. He made things happen in limited appearances. So I think in a full season, he's going to do well. And number 24, Cooper Kupp, who will be home against the Chicago Bears.
Here's another Rams receiver with an upgrade at quarterback. How good do you think he does?
Well, I'm high on the whole offense, the whole Rams offense. I think Stafford is a huge upgrade. I think he's going to have a big year. I think Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are going to do excellent. And number 25, Devonta Smith at Atlanta.
Devonta Smith is kind of a skinny wide receiver. How do you think that plays into the NFL?
It could be a problem. It could be a problem. But Devonta Smith had a way to get open in Alabama. I think that's gonna bode well on the NFL. I think he'll be open. He'll be the number one guy for Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to do well his rookie season. And number 26, DJ Moore, who will be home against the New York Jets.
Problem here is Sam Darnold. You've said it plenty of times. What do you think is going to happen down there?
He's got a good matchup, right? He's playing the Jets week 1. But yes, it's Sam Darnold. I think Darnold might do better than he did with the Jets, but not much better. At 27, DeVante Parker, who will be at New England.
Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm high on that Miami offense. I think Tua is going to have a great season. Seems a little low for Parker here.
I'm with you. I think that offense is going to be good. And you know what? A lot of people are sleeping on DeVante Parker. I mean, we have him low here in the top 30 rankings. You think it should be higher? A lot of people won't even have him ranked. He hasn't played in the preseason. He's been in slumber. I think he's going to come out and have a big game against the Patriots. And number 28, T. Higgins, home against Minnesota.
Joe Burrow is coming back after a huge injury. You think that's going to play into him this week, the first game back?
No, you're absolutely right. That is the big question mark there, right? It's Joe Burrow. How is he going to come back from injury? We don't know yet. We'll see what he's bringing to the table. And regardless of Jamar Chase being drafted, I think T. Higgins is the number 1 receiver on that team. And number 29, Jaylen Waddle at New England.
All right, here I see a little issue, right? You got Parker ranked just a little bit higher than Waddle. I think Tua is going to look for Waddle more than Parker because of that chemistry.
Well, don't forget, he also has chemistry with Parker. He has played with Parker before. I think Parker is a known commodity. I think he's injury prone, but when he's on the field, he's amazing. We still haven't seen Jaylen Waddle on an NFL field. I think Waddle's going to have a great season. But right now, I would still rank Parker a little higher. And number 30, Odell Beckham at Kansas City.
Okay, do you think Odell Beckham will ever return to the dynamic receiver he once was?
I don't know. And we don't even know if he's going to be healthy this year. We don't know if he's going to be ready for week 1. Is he going to get a full load? But he is just too explosive. And they're going to need to pass against Kansas City. So if even in unlimited snaps, there's a chance for a touchdown, and that's why I have him at number 30.
All right. Thanks for coming on here and sharing your top 30 wide receiver rankings for week 1.
It's my pleasure. We'll be doing this every week. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Follow us, not only here, but on Twitter, on Instagram. We're the Fantasy Goodfellas, and we'll be here every week.
Fantasy Goodfellas.
Rolling on the field.
Fantasy Goodfellas.